Now that my new aquascape is in and my corals are placed, the 220-gallon reef tank is really shaping up and starting to look pretty good, if you ask me. But there are tons of projects that I have planned for this tank, so in this video I want to go over what my future plans and goals are for this build moving forward. Maybe this way y'all can keep me accountable or something. If you're new here, hello, howdy, hi. My name is Stephanie and I make silly videos documenting my journey in the reef tank keeping hobby. So if you are also silly and like the reef tanks, make sure to smash that subscribe right now. So now that my aquascape is repaired and my corals are placed nicely, I have a ton of projects that I want to do with my tank moving forward. My goals for this tank have always been the same. I envision a beautiful mixed reef with tons of acros to offset all of this LPS movement action we have going on here. But before my tank is ready to keep a ton of sexy acros, there are definitely a few things that I need to get in place first. Number one on my list being I need to start dosing Kalkwasser. Kalkwasser is honestly such an underrated way to increase your pH and your calcium and alkalinity. I don't know why, because Kalkwasser is freaking awesome. I mean, I know it was like the old school method of doing things and at some point it fell out of favor for some reason, but this is wrong. We need to bring Kalkwasser back because it's inexpensive and just the best way to increase your pH. And honestly, I've become a bit of a pH chaser recently. I know you're not supposed to chase parameters, but I'm definitely chasing pH. Basically, how Kalkwasser works is you just add some of it into some RDI, fresh water, and then add it to your tank. It has a higher pH. So it takes the calcium and the alkalinity out of the water and then glues together, but sometimes it's harder to squish it. Basically, it builds coral skeletons faster, which means faster growing corals. And I don't know about you, but I love me some faster growing corals. So Kalkwasser is definitely on the top of my list. I want to get a Kalkwasser reactor ASAP. But in the meantime, I was thinking to mix in some Kalkwasser with my auto top off water in my reservoir just until I get a reactor, because I just want to get the process going. I want to add acros sooner than later, and it's just such a beneficial thing. Honestly, everybody at this point needs to start dosing Kalkwasser. Trust me, you won't regret it. So definitely the top of my list on the projects I have planned for my 220-gallon reef aquarium. And if you're a veteran to this channel, you know that about a year and a half, no, 2 years ago, I got an Apex controller system, an Apex doser, and a Trident. And I still haven't set any of them up. And I know what you're thinking. I don't want to hear it. It's just, it's those pieces of equipment are invaluable. Like being able to keep track of your tank using your Apex controller system and just having a doser and the Trident to just add this extra layer of convenience is great. It's really great. And I don't know why I haven't set it up yet, Apex controller system is definitely, of all of those three products, would be the first that I want to set up. Keeping track of my temperature would be super nice right now, considering it's Texas and it's 108 outside and my AC is trudging along. Keeping track of my temperature would be lovely. Keeping track of everything, having everything all there in the palm of your hand on your phone. It's a big relief, a peace of mind that I really need. I think I haven't set them up because, they're a bit intimidating. They're a bit intimidating when you look at all of the steps that you have to do. At least it's intimidating to me. And it's one of those things that I'm so used to doing everything by hand that I don't feel like I'm really missing anything, because I don't really know what it's like to have that level of control and automation in my life, Ever since I started this hobby, I dose by hand, check the temperature by hand. I do everything by hand. And obviously, that's not that's not on. You know, we need to actually get these stuff set up. Definitely high up on my list. It's been high up on my list, but this time actually need to get around to doing it. Y'all better hold me accountable with this one. Even though I would love some automated equipment in my life, I don't want to rely too much on automated equipment. I think a big mistake that sometimes happens is like over dependence on these products that tell you that your tank is doing this, your temperature is this, your parameters are this, when in reality, equipment fails. It fails. It's not if, it's when. And if you're solely assessing your tank through these kinds of automated equipment, it's a no. That's bad, because one day things are gonna go haywire, and you just need to have that level of, what's the word? How do I word this? You just need to be in tune with your tank, like on an individual level, you know? Like, understand that these equipment, they're helpful tools, but they're not the end all be all. Check by hand. You know, don't rely on the Trident, for example, to tell you what your water parameters are. Just use it as an extra, you know, peace of mind. Still test your water by hand every week. I mean, just make sure that you double check on these kinds of equipment. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I don't want to rely too much on them, but I definitely want to set them up. So high up on my list too, setting up the Apex controller system, the Trident, and finally setting up my doser unit. These are very important things, y'all. Another project that I really want to do that I'm super excited about is actually something that I saw on Instagram, and if I still had access to that picture, I would definitely post it. Can't find it again, but anyway, my Radions. I had this idea from this Instagram post to put my Radions inside of an IKEA light. I think it's gonna make the tank look really, really sexy. Like, picture these black, big IKEA lights dangling from the ceiling on top of my tank with the Radions hidden inside. I mean, come on. The tank is gonna look so freaking sexy and sleek and sophisticated, like almost like a piece of art more than an aquarium. And that's like goals, you know? I'm not sure how to retrofit it just yet, because I obviously will have to put some outlets in the ceiling, which I'm not really excited about, and also figure out a way to retrofit these lights in order to store the box. You know, the Radions, like on the cable, they have the box with the power, you know what I mean. It needs to somehow fit inside the light too, so I have to think of a contraption. I don't know. We're gonna make a whole video about this project in itself, but if you can picture like how sexy the tank look, I think this project will excite you too, because it sure as heck is exciting me. And I think the tank will look even more beautiful, sexy. Really excited for this one, and hopefully I can make it work. I mean, hopefully this will go as planned. You know what I mean? Another very essential project would be my cable organization and setting up a little controller board. I'm pretty infamous now for having a haywire cable situation. Cable organization and cable management is 1000% not my forte. I'm pretty much always been one step away from burning down the house with my cable setup. It's out of control. My stand area is just a nightmare. I'm not happy about it. I built this controller board situation here. I don't know if I really like it that much, and how the cables will really actually sit behind this in my tank stand, but there was an attempt made once, and never actually put it in there and got everything set up in the controller board. But hopefully setting up this controller board will be something that I do in the future. Also, some lighting under the stand lighting is absolutely essential. I feel like I can never see what's going on in there. I had this set up in the past with some strip lights, but they ended up falling off, and I never really did anything else with them. I never put them back up, so it's awfully dark in my sump area. Would like to fix that. But essentially, cable management, cable organization is the bane of my existence, and it's time that we finally get that together, because this is absurd. This is embarrassing, embarrassing. So those are all the projects and plans that I have for the 220-gallon tank moving forward. If you guys have any tips, advice, anything to help me do the task, and also be motivated enough to actually finally get these tasks done, please let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate it. Really excited to get this tank going, all of these plans, projects, goals, all very exciting stuff. Feel like the tank's really coming together, and excited to show you guys here in the future how these projects end up, you know, if they actually end up doing them, that is.